that a bank is like that lousy auntie of yours who lends you an umbrella, and as soon as it starts raining, they take the umbrella back. Hey, what's up guys? It's Ken's Money Matters on Raw and Real. And today we're going to be looking at, let's put this thing in a proper way so that I'm not out of camera. Today we're going to be looking at Kenyans' obsession with land and houses. Anytime a Kenyan gets money, the first thing they're thinking of, ploti. Ploti at the river, ploti Kakamega, ploti sijui wapi, ploti Kitengela, ploti sijui wapi. Anytime Kenyans make money, they're thinking of plot, house. The obsession with plots and houses in Kenya is actually a disaster waiting to happen. And right now as we speak, banks are auctioning most of these properties because people cannot maintain the payments on them. Now that makes me sad because we have been taught, like I said, you have been taught to think a certain way about plots and other investments like that. But it could be that that's not the truth. Sometimes you need to open your mind. Sometimes those things worked before, but they don't work anymore. Otherwise, guys, welcome to Ken's Money Matters, and here is our raw and real, very short videos. I just basically give my opinion about different things. And today, we're going to be looking at an article that was written on Bizna Kenya. So feel free to go and check it out, but it was written by someone called George Mulala, who is a photojournalist. It was an article written about George Mulala. So George Mulala is basically giving us a story of what happens in Kenya all the time. And this is something I've spoken about on my channel, about people being obsessed with real estate, with plots, with, houses. They don't think of anything else. I always say that your model, the way you looking at life, the way you look at investments, the way you look at finance, the way you behave financially, your money mindset is always modeled by the society. And Kenyans have this modeled mindset about land and plots and stuff like that. So you get some money and the next thing you're thinking of is, where can I get some plot? Where can I get some cheap plot? So yeah, it's a good thing you buy an asset, but to some level, you have to know what is the balancing point. Okay? So George Mulala tells this story. He was a photojournalist, in 1999 he was doing well, everything going on well, he's paying his taxes well, he's a good, modest citizen. And then when the banks came for Jirongo, if you remember very well, there was a time that the National Bank went for Jirongo's neck because he fell out of the government of the day. And at that time, he had a lot of loan from the banks. And these are some of the risks that people don't evaluate. So Jirongo could not pay his money because they wanted the money immediately based on who owns the banks. Definitely in Kenya, you know who owns the banks. So when the banks came for him, he definitely could not pay the premiums as soon as the bank wanted him to. And therefore, the next thing was for them to repossess the houses. So the houses were in Saika Estate. The whole estate was repossessed by the bank, and therefore they were sold to other people as auctions, right? So people like George Mulala bought those houses. And the funny thing is, again, when he himself lost his job and could not retain the payment for the house, he lost the same house with everything he had put in it, depending on the kind of contract you got into, right? Again, we never look at the contracts. We don't look at the small print. So he lost his money. So this is just one of the stories of what happens in Kenya. And the reason I'm talking about this story is because it tells us exactly the plight that most Kenyans are going through. As we speak, banks have been auctioning lots of properties. Just last week, banks are auctioning a lot of properties, and it's in the tune of billions and billions of Kenyan shillings. These are normal Kenyans, hardworking people losing their money to the banks. So George says in this article nicely that a bank is like that lousy auntie of yours who lends you an umbrella, and as soon as it starts raining, they take the umbrella back. Now, some people do think that banks are their friends. And I tell you all the time, the bank is not your friend. They're there to do business. And your failure is their profit. So don't think that they're your friends because they're giving you a mortgage of 30 years. That's not friendship. So these banks went for Jirongo. Then they now went for the people who bought these houses again. Imagine the kind of money that the bank made from this particular transaction. And imagine the people who lost money. Normal, common, hardworking people. So the obsession with buying land and houses in Kenya should stop. Even for Kenyans in diaspora, even for people who are returning back to Africa, repatriating, the obsession to buy land should just stop. I know it's a good thing. I know you've been taught when you were growing up that buy things that appreciate in value, and the only thing you will access was land. Right now, things have changed. There are so many options for you. There are stocks, there are bonds, there are CDs, there are treasury bills, there are money market funds, there are different mutual funds, there are the real estate funds, the rates, we have the ETFs. We have so many things you can invest in. You have so many options to actually go into. So don't put everything in land. Don't put everything in houses. Again, the problem that this has is most of our parents don't have liquidity. They have lots of land that they bought, but they don't have liquidity. And at old age, what you require is liquidity. You require cash flow. So how do you want to dispose of these things very fast and ensure yourself of a good cash flow like you are getting when you are working? What I'm saying and why I'm doing this video is just to remind you not to be too obsessed with buying land and houses and stuff like that if you cannot afford them cash. Yes, you can take a mortgage if you know you can afford it, but the risks must be evaluated and you must always remember it's a debt. Let nobody lie to you that a mortgage is not a debt. It's a debt. If you look at the origin of the word mortgage, you will know it's actually not a good thing. So I'm just reminding you, on today's raw and real, don't be too obsessed with these kind of investments that were normalized for us. This is why Kenyans in diaspora still get back home to invest in things that they don't understand, in lands they don't understand their origins, in houses they don't understand, and they lose money. The Cyton product that had an issue was with the real estate. That's because even investments firms know where the money is. They know how gullible Kenyans are when it comes to land and real estate and properties like that. George says in this article very well that one of his friends at the same time, when he was investing in these houses, bought Safaricom stocks. And do you know where the Safaricom stocks are now? He's made millions and millions of money. He's used the proceeds from Safaricom to open international businesses as we speak. He didn't buy land, and that did not make him not succeed. So just remember, it's not everything to be buying land, to be buying houses. No, there are other options for you to invest in. So he just basically was looking back and saying, you know what? Let's not be obsessed with all these things. Let's not be obsessed with land. Let's not be obsessed with real estate unless you are in a proper financial position, a proper financial foundation to actually afford it and do it in a safe way. But at the end of the day, the risk is quite big. So you see these big houses in Kenya that people have, and then you're thinking, oh, these people are so rich, they have a lot of money, but the bank is on their necks. They can't sleep at night because they're worried about auctioneers. They're worried about what could happen to the economy. If anything happens, the person who always suffers is the common man, the person who went to the bank to ask for money. So please, the obsession with all these properties should just end. If you get 2, 3, 4 million Kenya shillings that you want to invest, don't run to Kitengela, don't run to Athi River, don't run to all these funny places to buy land. You could also run to Safaricom to buy stocks. You could run to Bamburi to buy stocks. You could run to Kakuzi to buy stocks. Or you could run internationally to buy international stocks. Too many options. Why do we have to invest in land? Why do you have to buy some cheap, funny land that is in the cactus in Kitengela, 200 kilometers away from town, thinking that, oh, one day it will be a town? No. Invest in things that you're using every single day. Buy Facebook shares, buy Apple shares, buy all these Google shares that you use every single day. Buy Microsoft that you use every day, and forget about all those funny things. And I will be reacting to some of these stories that come from, people, because it shows you the reality of what I talk about all the time. It brings out the reality of what I always condemn, so I don't look like I'm just condemning things, but these are things that are happening to people, everyday people in real life. So guys, tell me what you think. What are you investing in? What's the plan? What are you going to be doing in the near future in terms of investing? What are you doing already? And what do you think about these videos? Make me feel good about them, right? Thank you guys. Until next time, raw and real. One's a company, two's a crowd, three's a party, come move.